There is a kind of exhaustion that sleep does not fix. You wake up tired, you push through the day, you try to be better, stronger, more disciplined. And yet, something inside you still feels empty, so you try harder. No. You pray more, you read more, you push yourself to change, but the harder you try, the heavier it feels. Let me ask you something honestly. What if the problem is not your effort, but what you are trying to produce? Or, because most people treat their spiritual life like a task, or something to manage, something to improve, something to fix. But Jesus said something that completely breaks that mindset. Abide in me. Not try harder, not do more, abide. And here is the tension. Or most people hear that word and do not understand it. It sounds spiritual, but not practical, so we go back to what we know: effort, control, striving, go. And we end up exhausted, trying to produce something that was never meant to come from us. So let me ask you one question. What if peace, strength, and growth were never meant to be produced by you? What if they were meant to flow through you? Stay with me, because once you understand what Jesus meant in John 15, everything begins to shift. And it starts with one simple picture. Jesus gives one of the simplest images in all of Scripture. I am the vine, you are the branches. Now pause, this is not poetry. It is a system. The vine is the source, the branch is the receiver, and the fruit, that is the result. So let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a branch trying to produce fruit? Straining, forcing, working harder? No, because a branch does not create life, it receives life, and that changes everything. Because most people live the opposite way. They try to produce peace, produce patience, produce strength, and when they cannot, they feel like they are failing. But Jesus says something direct: apart from me, you can do nothing. Not less, nothing. So here is the real problem. You are not failing. You are trying to be the source, instead of staying connected to it. Now let me ask you this: if the branch's only job is to stay connected, why do we spend so much time trying to perform? Because we do not understand what it means to abide, and that is where everything begins to change. The word abide sounds spiritual, but it is actually very simple. It means to remain, to stay, to dwell, not visit, not check in. Now let me ask you something. How do most people treat their relationship with God? Like a visit. Crisis, moments of need. They come and then they leave, but a branch cannot visit the vine. If it disconnects, it dies. So here is the shift. Abiding is not an event, it is a lifestyle. It means God is not just part of your life. He is present in it, in your thoughts, in your reactions, in your decisions. Now think about this: your phone does not die instantly when you unplug it. It keeps working, for a while. Slowly, the battery drains. That is exactly how many people live spiritually, still functioning, still moving, but running on empty. So let me ask you this: why do you feel drained, even when you are doing everything right? Because you are operating on yesterday's connection. And here is the truth. You do not need to try harder, you need to reconnect. Now here is where it becomes uncomfortable. Because the next truth challenges everything we rely on. Effort. This is where most people get it wrong. They see something missing in their life, and they try to fix it. More discipline, more effort, more pressure. But Jesus never told the branch to try harder. He told it to stay connected. Let me ask you something. Have you been trying to fix your life, instead of staying connected to the one who transforms it? Because there is a difference. Trying produces pressure. Abiding produces fruit. And here is the deeper truth. Growth is not a reward for effort. It is a result of connection. Think about that. You do not force a tree to grow fruit. It happens naturally, when it is healthy. So now the question becomes clear. What if your exhaustion is not failure, but a signal? A signal that you are trying to produce something, without staying connected to the source? Because when you reconnect, everything changes. Peace stops being something you chase. It becomes something you experience. Strength stops being something you force. It becomes something you receive. Joy stops being something you look for. It begins to rise within you, not because you tried harder, but because you stayed connected. So now the real question is not, what do you need to do more of? It is this. What do you need to stop trying to control? So here it is. One truth, one shift, one decision. Stop trying so hard, not because effort is bad, but because effort cannot replace connection. Jesus did not call you to perform. He called you to remain, to stay, to abide. So let me ask you one final question. What would your life look like? If you stopped trying to produce everything on your own, if you stopped forcing peace and started receiving it, if you stopped chasing growth and started staying connected, because that is the secret of John 15, not striving, abiding, not pressure, not doing more, staying near. And here is the truth you can rest in today. You do not have to become something on your own, you just have to stay connected to the one who already is, so the next time you feel tired, overwhelmed, empty, do not try harder, pause, reconnect, restore, because everything you have been trying to create is already flowing from the source. And the moment you stop trying is the moment you finally begin to live.